Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here representing Jason Blaha Strength and Fitness, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the scam artistry of using all these bodybuilders to sell supplements. But a quick reminder, if you guys will please click like down below, be greatly appreciated. If you're not following or subscribed, please do so. And if you would be kind enough to drop me a comment down below, I would appreciate it so much. Thank you. And let's get over to the topic. All right, the bodybuilder being used to sell that product probably doesn't even use it, and if he does use it, he's probably an idiot, and it still wasn't responsible for his results. This is one of the oldest scams in the fitness industry. This was done all the way back with the Weeder stuff when they were selling just complete, horrifically bad protein shakes and everything else. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying protein shakes don't work. I'm not saying some vitamins are not situationally useful. Right? I'm not saying there are not a few products that work, okay? I personally occasionally use a protein powder. I use creatine. I use extra strength fish oil. I take a multivitamin. Right? These are all for health benefits. They have nothing to do really with getting significantly bigger or stronger or more jacked or leaner or any of this stuff. So this is where we run into the problem, is this idea that a few supplements can be helpful nutritionally or therapeutically, with modest but some potential benefits, are not creating any of these bodybuilders. And this has been done historically. They're all on drugs. They're on tons of drugs. And I mean, this was admitted, like 15 years ago. I saw a thing with Muscle Tech, which was the big one when I was they were in all the magazines. They sponsored all the major magazines. They were like the #1 thing. And, they had this one guy, this one fitness model, and he had even admitted, look, I use a little bit of gear. And they're like, and they asked him in the interview, it's kind of like a tell-all. It's like, but you're selling this hydroxy cut, which was, again, the fat burner of the time. It's hydroxycut. It was the big one. It was pimped in every single magazine to help you get shredded. And he said, well, look, yeah, I mean, I do use some other stuff. Obviously, I use some things. I'm obviously a little too big to be natural. He goes, but I do use it. I absolutely do use it, and it helps me. It's a product that I use, and it does work, and I use it. I use some other stuff too, But the fact of the matter is, he's sitting there claiming it works, but the reality is he was a paid spokesman for all those years, this paid model who was in all the ads. This was his job. It was literally his job to say that it works. So, of course, when it comes to it, he's not going to bite the hand that feeds him. And notice that this product, I don't think it's even pushed anymore. But they push all this other stuff, and I think people forget what I point out. Supplements can't work. Like the Supplement Act in the 90s, in the U.S. pretty much set the tone. They can't really make products that help you build muscle or burn fat. If they do, they're going to get pulled off the shelf. They're going to get outlawed, right? You're competing with big pharma. You're competing with the pharmaceuticals. And this is a big problem. This is a major problem, all right? So this is all con artistry. It's all con artistry. And it's the biggest scam. And look how much you see it over and over and over and over. And you just see the bodybuilders getting bigger and more massive. And it went from just steroids to growth hormone to tons of insulin, IGF-1. Like, they're literally walking experiments. And they're standing here acting like this supplement did anything. It's just such an enormous scam. But then you see it. You'll see even when the bottle is being sold, or the ad on social media, right there in the picture, it's some massive pro bodybuilder, or the pro bodybuilder there, the supplements there, and the thing. But these physiques are all the product of drugs. Half the time they're not even good training anymore. It's just drugs, site enhancement. There's so much oil, which again is coming from the amount of even gear they're using, and their biceps and delts, and getting shredded with tons of fat burners and thyroid hormones. And now they're even using the GLPs, some of them. Plenty of them use recreational substances, literally recreational substances, to help with their cuts. I've heard of coke, meth, all these things. I've seen bodybuilders do some of these things. Literally during their contest preps to get more ripped, and then the diuretics, it's drugs. And yet right here, but I use these products too. Or even if they don't admit to the other, like, well, yeah, but these supplements still work. And why do they say that? Because these companies are paying them. It's a billions and billions of dollars a year industry, and it's all garbage. And I think what we have to remember when people say, but it does this, and I feel this effect, and there's some research, it's like, you better look closer at that research. Do you really think you're getting bigger or stronger from this over-the-counter product? Do you really think it's making any difference? Because if it did, it would be illegal. But it does this for blood flow and it does this as a vasodilator. It's like, look, it's not helping your workouts. Right? Right? It's not helping your workouts. It's placebo. But again, people need to understand that they're like, but all right, but I'm getting a placebo, but you're also supporting con artistry. You are literally paying these companies when you keep buying all this silly nonsense. And it's one thing to buy a few things at work. Look, if they're selling some protein powder, hey, that's okay. Buy some protein powder if you need a little bit. It's fine. But you don't need the huge amounts of it, right? But I get it, if it's for convenience, absolutely. Whey protein and stuff can be a convenience, but outside of that, that's what it is. It's a nice, convenient, high-quality protein source. But outside of if you're doing stuff like that or some fish oil or some very basic stuffs, you're essentially supporting scams. You are literally giving money to people, even if you're like, well, okay, but even if it is a placebo, I get the placebo. But then you're supporting scam artists. You're literally putting money into their pockets. And it would be fine if you were buying the products at work, because even then, if a company has 10 products and only one of them works, and you happen to buy the one that works, I don't think that's unreasonable. You know what? Because at least you're buying something that works. You're not supporting their dishonesty. You're supporting the one thing they make that works. Hey, well, that we should encourage buying things that work. Okay, fine. But stop buying the other stuff. You are literally propping it up, and stop believing these stupid idiot bodybuilders and fitness influencers and people who are selling you this stuff. Even the ones who claim they're natural. Do you understand why so many of the fake natty thing even started? It was because of the supplement industry. Because they couldn't have them all admitting, oh, this is all drugs. So if tons of guys are like, oh, I'm natural, but then I do take this over-the-counter product, which is ironic, because if these over-the-counter products actually made enough of a difference, let's be clear, if these products actually did help you build muscle or burn fat, you wouldn't be natural. You would be chemically enhanced. You were taking a substance that helps build muscle or burn fat. That is called a PED. And when they're found to actually work, the government outlaws them. When they're found to actually work, the Olympic Committee, the IOC, bans them. WADA bans them from sports. Okay, we need to be clear. Any supplement that actually works gets classified as a PED, and it gets banned. So if you're taking them, or these guys are actually taking them and they actually work, they would be enhanced lifters. They would be enhanced bodybuilders. But the stuff doesn't work. That's why it's not banned. And yet they use it to prop all this stuff up and pretend like it works, and people just buy it. Hook, line, and sinker over and over and over, generation after generation after generation. I've been watching this for over 25 years.